Judging other people has become an international sport. We have tabloid news, reality TV shows, talkback radio, Twitter wars, Facebook posts, YouTube comments, and then there's an entire legal system where people judge other people. And yet, the Torah says that we shouldn't judge other people. So what's up with that? The Torah says, don't judge another person until you stand in their place. And there's an old joke about not judging a person until you walk a mile in their shoes. That way, goes the joke, when you do judge them, you'll be a mile away and have their shoes. Judging someone else is problematic. Specifically, it's that we can't judge their culpability. Judging culpability means that I think that they could have done better, but they didn't. And therefore, there should be some consequence. So the Torah says, you can't judge another person's culpability until you stand in their place. Okay, so what does it mean until you stand in their place? Does that mean that we can judge them sometimes? So the most important thing that we learn out of until you stand in their place is that really you can never judge another person because you will never really stand in their exact place. Their place means all of the factors that go into determining how culpable a person is for doing the wrong thing. Did they do it intentionally, accidentally, or maybe partially intentionally? And even if some part of it was intentional, were they in their normal state of mind at the time? Maybe they were upset, or drunk, or depressed, or angry, or exhausted. And even if they were in their normal state of mind, what role did their childhood and their education and their society and their weaknesses and their fears, what role did those things play? Maybe even what they watched on TV last night played a role. Maybe even their own reaction to what they did is important. Did they do their best evil laugh afterwards? Or did they immediately feel bad and regret what they had done? Now, I'm not saying that all of these mitigating factors necessarily mean that a person is not responsible for their actions. But it might be that at least some of the wrong that they did, if not all of it, is mitigated by some or more of these factors. Since we can't possibly know all of these factors, in other words, we're not standing in their place, so how are we possibly going to judge them fairly? Now, in fairness, we did say that you can't judge a person's culpability. However, we can judge their actions, and the Torah does it all of the time. It labels a certain action as the wrong thing to do. So not judging a person doesn't mean that we don't call out inappropriate actions. That we definitely do. But how much responsibility the person has for the thing that they're doing, that's a whole different calculation. And that is an extraordinarily difficult calculation for us to make. The bottom line is that Hashem is the one true judge when it comes to judging culpability, which is good because Hashem is the only one who can actually do it with 100% knowledge, objectivity, and fairness. So in conclusion, sometimes bad people do the wrong thing, but sometimes good people do the wrong thing. And while we can recognize an action or a behavior that is wrong, unless you're God, it is super difficult to know who is actually a bad person who did the wrong thing and who is actually a good person who made a mistake. Therefore, it's a good idea to not go around judging other people.